against an arch rival on a strip, on a track. There's a tremendous world of motorsports racing. And now you get to enjoy all its variety on the Chevy Motorsports Hour.
The 20th anniversary of the Yokohama SCCA Solo 2 Nationals and the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship Series is being brought to you by Yokohama Tires, advanced technology on wheels, and by Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline, and by Pulsar, featuring the Tech Gear Series, the ultimate in sports watch technology. Pulsar, available at leading department stores and fine jewelers. They say that every car is a sports car at one time or another. And that's because we've all got a little bit of race car driver in us. But since most of us are not going to be competing wheel to wheel with Mario Andretti next weekend, how do you do it legally? And virtually risk-free, and in a manner that we won't go broke? Well, the answer is here in Salina, Kansas, where hundreds of people have gathered to solo, and that means they're going to race their own car alone against the clock over an obstacle course. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Yokohama Solo 2 National Championships and the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship Series. I'm Doug Messerly, along with Roger Johnson, our resident expert, and we're here to call all the action for you this afternoon. Now, Roger, you're a multi-time champion in this competition, so nobody is better qualified to tell us what to look forward to.
Well, with these two separate events here, Doug, first in the Solo 2 portion, the drivers are on two separate distinct courses, driving as quickly as they can for fast time on each one. Here in the Pro Solo, the courses are side by side. The drivers line up and they start with this Christmas tree behind us.
Stay tuned as over 800 drivers, including 150 women, square off for some very serious competition. And coming up right after this is the Yokohama Solo 2 National Championships on Prime Network.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. What they fail to say is whose race technology has won more than anyone else. Chevrolet. The cars more people depend on.
In case you need to push your truck, Yokohama high-performance light truck tires.
Al Unser Jr. knows what it's like to win the Indianapolis 500 with 0.04 of a second to spare. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
Welcome back to Salina, Kansas and the Yokohama SCCA Solo 2 National Series. Now you get an excellent shot of some in-car footage here, and we've got Neil Sapp. He's on the north course, and he is in a D-stock Honda. He eventually finishes 3rd overall in the competition. And there's another course here in Salina, Kansas on this airport, and that's the South Course. Now, the way that the scoring will be run in the championship is that each driver will get 3 runs on each course, one in the north, one in the south. Then you take the best time on each course, you combine it, and that time is what determines your class champion. Roger Johnson is going to have more on this for us a little bit later. Now, what you really have here from the driver's eye view is basically a miniature road racing course where there are a series of turns and angles and slaloms and other devices for the competitors to drive through. They're defined by pylons. Those are the standard traffic cones that you see every day. They define the course, and the usual penalty for hitting a pylon is 2 seconds added on to the time for that run. There are 25 Solo 2 classes in 4 different categories, so there's literally a class for just about anything that's made that has 4 wheels and a motor and is bigger than a go-kart. Now we go to the South Course, and you're going to be riding along in the yellow 1966 Chevrolet Corvette of Tracy Sandberg. The Corvette is in the B prepared class, and Sandberg drove this to a 5th place overall in that class. Now, through the magic of modern technology and the in-car camera, this really gives you a good idea of the skill required of these drivers to get through this course. Now, the course itself, as we said, is a series of lefts and rights and switchbacks and slaloms and straightaways. It's not similar to the North Course, other than the drivers have got to maneuver through this without hitting a cone. But you do have to drive up to the entry point. You have to point the car using the brakes, and you also have to be very, very precise with the steering, because this is really a finesse sport, so to speak, because one slight mistake and it's going to cost you tenths of seconds, hundredths of seconds, and with as many competitors as there are here that weekend, you know, it can really set you back in the championship. So watch Tracy Sandberg as he finishes his run on the South Course here this afternoon. The Solo 2 Nationals are run over a 4-day period of time, and now that's a total of 50 classes. 22 of those classes are run over a 2-day period, and then the remaining 28 classes compete in the second 2 days. Now we get a good shot of Kelly Cadenhead from Alpine, California, out of the SCCA, that's the San Diego region. This also, by the way, is a street car. We mentioned at the top of the show that one of the advantages you have in competing in the solo class here, this type of racing, is that you in fact can take your street car out and drive it around. Kelly Cadenhead, as we see from the in-car camera, is really doing a good job. Now you'll notice when the car loads up on the right side or the left side, depending on the turn, the wheel will actually come off the ground. Fantastic in-car action right here as we look back at the rear tires of Kelly Cadenhead's Toyota. Now this will also give you an idea really of the speed that these cars are going to reach. Slow stuff, you know, maybe 30 miles an hour, but they're going to get up to somewhere around 60 or 70 miles an hour. That's all part of the fun of solo, is being able to take your car out and drive it under simulated racing conditions. Now we see Kelly Cadenhead as she moves through the slalom part of the course, and this gives you an excellent idea of how smooth she is. You'll notice her hands will never leave the steering wheel. They'll shuffle a little bit just to be able to negotiate the corner and be smooth about it. Fantastic job by Kelly Cadenhead, your H-Stock Women's winner. Now let's go to Roger Johnson with our D-Stock contenders.
Behind me now are the top 2 cars in D-Stock. Neil Sapp in the Honda is going to be out first. He's got 2nd place. He needs an improvement of a little over a 1/10 of a second to win over the car behind him. That's Bill Breedlove and that ancient Datsun. Very different cars competing for the win in D-Stock.
So as you watch Neil Sapp pull away, he's out of Catonsville, Maryland in the 88 Honda. He needs to pick up 4/10 of a second for the win. He wasn't able to do that, and the story really came down to Bill Breedlove out of Salt Lake City, Utah, as he took his 22-year-old Datsun that you see right here on to the D-Stock win. Jeff Altenberg out of Catonsville, Maryland is considered to be one of the best autocrossers in the United States. Here he is on the South Course. He's in the 93 Mazda RX-7 Turbo with Yokohama tires. Now, if you really want to get an idea of what autocrossing is all about here at the Solo 2 Nationals, sit back, watch, and enjoy Jeff Altenberg at work. Jeff Altenberg, your A-Stock winner. Now, we're going to see an awful lot of different cars in the next 45 minutes or so. Roger Johnson took time out to give us an introduction to all these categories.
All these cars and all these different classes and categories can be confusing if you're watching the competition. Let me try and make it easy for you. SCCA breaks cars down into 4 categories, starting with stock, street prepared, prepared, and modified. We're standing here in front of Mark and Gene Alves' stock category Camaro. These cars are allowed minimum modifications. They'll run unleaded fuel, all their emissions equipment. They've got perhaps some aftermarket shocks and brake pads. They'll maximize the wheel alignments and, of course, the competition tires. These folks, it's the most popular category. They run them like they come from the factory. The next step up the performance ladder from stock is street prepared. We're standing here in front of Dwight and Linda Mitchell's street prepared Porsche. In street prepared, the folks are allowed to make some suspension modifications and some external engine modifications like manifolds to make these cars handle and work just that much better. Faster still are the cars in the prepared category. These cars are out-and-out racing machines with racing wheels and tires, full race engines, gutted interiors. The car's right down on minimum weight. They're fast and they sound good too. The final category is modified. I'm sitting here on Bud Emming's Ralt, and this piece of machinery is designed with one thing in mind, and that's to get through the pylons as fast as any vehicle can. Hopefully that gives you a good picture of what the SCCA categories are with stock, street prepared, prepared, and modified. Within each category, we further break it down into classes so that there's parity of competition, so we don't have a Corvette running against a Honda. That should simplify your viewing.
As we go to break, here are more of your Solo 2 stock class winners.
Now you can get the daily and Sunday Denver Post for just 95 cents a week. You get bigger football coverage and better color photography. Plus, you get Sunday free. And only the Post gives you 7 wire services, so you get the best election news. Did I mention Sunday's free? And no one else delivers 16 big sections by 6 a.m. guaranteed. That's better, too. See, it's bigger, it's better.
It's free. Call 832-3232 and get Sundays free. It's bigger, it's better.
It's free. Call right now.
Announcing IBM's newest personal computers. They're packed with features, and they're now at a low Best Buy price. Get this IBM 486SX package for just $18.98 at Best Buy. It has a 129 meg hard drive, 4 megs memory, VGA color monitor, 24-pin printer, software, and accessories, all for just $18.98. And this week, get 0% financing for 1 year on all IBM computers. They're new, they're IBM, and they're at Best Buy.
U.S. Nationals, this week on Prime.
Welcome back to Prime Network's coverage of the Yokohama SCCA Solo 2 Nationals. Now, here are more winners in the stock class, the most popular category with 18 classes. Now we're going to get a real good look at Gladstone, Oregon's Tom Coetzee. He's in the beautiful black number 110 '89 Chevrolet Corvette. He's on Yokohama tires, and he's your winner in the super stock category. You're going to get a good shot here in a minute from, there it is, right there from the tires. Now here is what makes a champion in Solo 2. Watch how close that tire gets to the pylons, to the turn-in cones. The closer you can get to it, without hitting it, the better off you are. And there he was just about 3 inches right off that cone, and that's one of the reasons that Coetzee took home the win. Watching Coetzee in action gives you an idea why he's a winner here in the super stock class. He's very smooth. He's very concise. He's driving a very, very, very fine line. You'll notice he's not throwing the car around either. The car is very smooth. He's in total control of the automobile, and that's why he's a winner. So a combined time of 128.288 seconds. Next step up in category is street prepared. Roger Johnson is with Bill Kondrashoff.
Bill Kondrashoff's in line. He's in 3rd place, but he's only a 1/10 and a half out of the lead. He needs a 63.568 to tie the leader. 63.568. That's the time he's got to beat.
Well, a little bit earlier, Roger gave you a description of the street prepared category. Now, the D street prepared is the largest class here with 29 entries. Now, the SCCA created different classes so that cars of similar weight, performance, and power can compete against each other. Let's watch and see how Kondrashoff does here. Bill Kondrashoff in the number 13481 Fiat is out of Fiddletown, California. That's near San Francisco. He's on Yokohama tires. And let's see how he does. A little bit of tire smoke right there. A little bit of a bobble right there, but otherwise pretty smooth. Puts the power down. Straightens it out. Full heavy load on the right-hand side. Now let's see how he does this. Comes very close to the turn-in cone. And with a time of 63.356, he got the 2/10 that he needed for the win.
Marcella Mitchell's got a 2-second lead coming up to her last run. She's already put down a 66.5. Her effort this time is going to be to protect that lead and to see how close to the open class time she can run.
Now you saw the E, S, P, and L on the side of Marcella's car right before she took off. Of course, we're in street prepared. That's the E class. And the L is for ladies, and there are over 150 women that are going to compete in Salina, Kansas here this weekend. You see the shot from the in-car camera. You'll notice the way she works the wheel back and forth. But even more important than her hands, watch her eyes, because your hands will go where your eyes go. Now watch her as she goes through the turns. Good shot. Little bit of tire smoke there. That's fine. She's turning in with the brakes on. Comes real close to the pylon. Doing an excellent job. So good in-car action. You can see her hands, her eyes working together to make these tires work and to make a good run here this afternoon in the ladies class. Probably one of the reasons that so many women participate in the Solo 2 Nationals is it's a lot of fun, and it's also very safe, and there's also a lot of families that get involved. It's a big time here in Salina. They even have a talent show during the 6 days that they're here. So there's a little something for everybody. Marcella Mitchell, your E Street Prepared Ladies winner. Now, you saw the in-car that focused on the tires in Marcella's car. Roger Johnson gives us a more in-depth look.
The most important parts on these cars to get the power to the ground and to get the cars through the turns as quickly as possible is the tires. In the prepared and modified categories, we use an all-out racing slick. These things have no tread grooves to maximize the contact patch. They've also got a short, stiff sidewall for steering response. In stock and street prepared category, the tires have to meet DOT requirements, so they're molded with some tread grooves. But they've also very wide to maximize the contact patch and have that same short, stiff sidewall. This tire, when shaved, resembles that racing slick used in prepared and modified for the drivers that want every last tenth of a second on their runs. The technology in these tires finds its way into each new generation of street tires that we put on our cars for the street.
Okay, more street prepared winners, an emotional moment for one and all. Up next, prepared category action from Salina, Kansas on Prime Network.
The way to not win in tennis is to think too much about your opponent. Because in tennis, you don't just play the opponent. You've got to play the ball. It's how you play the ball that determines whether your shot is in or out. Whether the point is won or lost. Play the ball better than your opponent, and you'll play winning tennis. Now, you can play the ball and win with this double offer from Tennis Magazine. You'll receive a free half-hour video by Tennis Magazine instruction editor Vic Braden, plus a full year, 12 issues of Tennis Magazine. Call this number now and change the way you play tennis. What a combination. The How to Play Winning Tennis with Vic Braden video, plus the magazine that brings more instruction to more tennis players than any other. Call 800-228-3600 for a full year of Tennis Magazine plus the free video. Just $13.77. Call 800-228-3600 now.
The SCCA Rally Solo Department conducts 1,100 Solo 2 autocross events annually, many near your home. For free information on the club and how you can become involved, call 1-800-255-5550 today. Let's go to Roger at the start line for F-Prepared Ladies Contenders.
Next to run's Paulette Nagler in this gorgeous RX-7 she and her husband prepare. This car's sitting in third place right now, but it's got our in-car camera, and we're going to take you along for the ride.
Good view from the in-car of Paulette Nagler's car. She's from Agoura, California, in the number 42 1987 Mazda RX-7 Turbo. She currently is third overall in class, and she's sharing this car with her husband, Craig, who is also a class winner. And a lot of people share cars here at Salina, Kansas this weekend in the Nationals competition, and it demonstrates the economy of scale involved. Now, the F-Prepared leader is Ellen Ferguson. She's ready for her third run, and Roger is with her.
Here's our leader, Ellen Ferguson. She's already run a 63.9 on this course. She's going to try and get below 63 seconds just to show the other girls she can do it.
Now, Ellen Ferguson is another one of the competitors that shares a car with her husband, and she's out of Boulder, Colorado. She's driving a 70 Porsche. It's a 1970 Porsche, 914-6. Now, this is a 22-year-old car, but the way Ellen has been handling it this week, it sure doesn't perform like it's 22 years old. She's doing a fine, fine job. She has got a pretty big lead. She's your class leader. She's got a good-sized lead, but she's also got a personal goal. She wants to get under 63 seconds on this run. Now, she turned just over 66 seconds on the North course, and now she comes in at a 62.884. She achieved the goal. Next up and prepared the big dogs, the B class, and Roger is with Larry Park.
Larry Park's next win's pretty well assured. The question that's in everybody's mind now is, can Larry Park break a minute? There haven't been very many cars that have gone under a minute on this south course, and that's Larry Park's job right now.
All right, as we watch Larry Parks in the Be Prepared class, these guys really scoot. This is a lot of power. This is a Corvette. As a matter of fact, 7 of the 9 cars in this category are Corvettes. It's got big power, and when you got big power on a tight, twisty course like this, the approach really is different. You got to use big brakes. You got to come screaming up to the pylon, put the brakes on, turn in with the brakes. There you saw a little bit of brake smoke. He's really doing a good job. You'll notice how the suspension has really got the car right on the money. Now through the slalom. A little bit of power, powers around the corner, lays the power down very smoothly, because you got a power to weight ratio here is very important. So Larry Parks out of the San Francisco area in the '89 Chevrolet Corvette makes his run toward the championship. Clips the apex, moves on around, a little bit of drift there. Good car control by Larry Parks. The back end swings out a little bit. And your Be Prepared winner, Larry Park, in an '89 Chevrolet Corvette. Okay, there were a total of 12 prepared classes. You've already seen several. Here are the rest of the winners at the Yokohama Solo 2 Nationals. All right, now we go to the modifieds, and this is really serious excitement here, because this is the anything goes class. I guess you might say if you can build it, you can race it. They race on full racing slicks, and we're going to be taking a look at William Goodale out of Milford, Massachusetts, and he's in a 1973 TUI, and if I knew what a TUI was, I would tell you, but that gives you an example of the diversity of cars. Now, of course, there's the common Lola can be raced in this. There's even a car driven by Andy Whittle out of St. Louis, Missouri, that is called an '89 Home Built. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what you can experience in the modified category. Now, William Goodale, as we see right here, also has his son helping him. His son also races in SCCA local events, once again demonstrating how families can get together and enjoy the excitement of this sport. And when we talk about excitement, you look at this car, and the wing almost is as big as the car itself, but that wing certainly has a purpose, and that's to keep the car down onto the pavement. Now he goes through the slalom part of this, and you can really see the way that he's got this car set up to solo here in the modified class. William Goodale, quick times, and he's your winner in A modified. Now, here are the rest of the winners in the modified category. Today's program is brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And by Yokohama Tires, advanced technology on wheels. And by Pulsar, featuring the Tech Gear Series, the ultimate in sports watch technology. Coming up next, the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship Series.
If you want more racing, you need On Track. For over 10 years, On Track has provided the latest Formula 3000, Indy cars, Trans Am, IMSA, NASCAR, and more every 2 weeks. If you really want to know what's going on in auto racing, get the magazine that's 100% auto racing from cover to classifieds. Order 1 year, 25 issues now for only $29.97. Call toll-free 1-800-825-8214 and get On Track.
Most car makers get it right from the start with NGK resistor spark plugs. And now, so do we. My brother Tom's never sounded so good.
Big wheels keep turning. Big wheel Rossi.
Experience the quiet of a Sound Solution muffler. The highest quality original equipment replacement muffler made. Built to last and save you money. Sound Solution mufflers for most U.S. cars and trucks on sale only $15.99.
Big wheels keep turning.
Get the message.
Big wheel Rossi.
Come to me, my baby. Come to me, my child.
Research funded by the American Heart Association gives children with heart disease a chance.
My child.
You can help prevent heart disease. We can tell you how.
I love to see you smile.
With over 800 competitors here this week in Salina, Kansas for the Yokohama Solo 2 Nationals and the Valvoline Pro Solo Championships, you can imagine that timing and scoring is quite a job. Well, the second half of our show is the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship, and we're going to be along with Craig Nagler in the in-car camera, and he's going to take us for a ride around the left side course. The Pro Solo Championship combines the skill and safety of autocrossing with the side-by-side spectacle of drag racing. The courses are twin, mirror-imaged courses that match two cars at a time against one another from parallel drag strip starts, where one course turns right, the other turns left. They're tight enough to preclude high speeds, and there's plenty of runoff area so that there's no danger of hitting an object on the course other than the spare traffic cone that might be out there every once in a while. So watch Craig Nagler as he gives us a tour around the Pro Solo course. All right, now Nagler Nagler spins the car right at the end of the run. So Craig Nagler. Now we take a look at Tony Mashburn on the right and Dan Cadenhead on the left. You'll see the Christmas tree lights right there. Give him the takeoff sign, the number 22 car of Tony Mashburn as he begins to negotiate the course. Now the Pro Solo drivers are going to run both of these courses over a 3-round period, and that's going to determine the championship in all the different classes. The difference here, of course, as you see Tony Mashburn slipping and sliding through. Whoa, now he's going to spin. Now here's the interesting thing. Mashburn spins, but because this is the final day of the championship, there were times that were set yesterday. Mashburn's times yesterday, as a matter of fact, were fast enough to enable that spin not to hurt him in his quest for the championship. There it is, your mini sport champion, Tony Mashburn. Now we're going to take a look at a very interesting situation where Bob Tennell on the right out of Hermosa Beach, California, in the Dr. Bolt's Volkswagen Jetta, really got sort of snafu'd here by the rain because he really needed to have a good run today. The time that was set yesterday was really going to be the fastest. So Tennell a little bit disappointed because he's just not going to be able to go as fast in the rain. You'll even see him right there as he makes adjustments for driving in the rain. Now the categories between Solo 2 and Pro Solo are pretty much the same. There's your Stock 4 winner, Steve Broliar. Now we've really got an interesting situation. That's Roger Johnson on the left of your screen and Jeff Altenberg from Catonsville, Maryland on the right. Now we're on board with Altenberg, but the story is this. Our own Roger Johnson pulled an upset over Altenberg by setting the fastest time yesterday. Let's ride along with Altenberg. Now, even though Altenberg cannot win the class championship here, there's a second piece of the action that's coming up that really pays the big bucks, and that's the Pro Solo Challenge. So even though he can't win the championship, this is a great opportunity for both Altenberg and for Roger Johnson to get good practice in the rain. Lots of friendships are made here at the Pro Solo Championships, and there's a great example of it. Here are the rest of your winners in the stock category. We'll be back after this on Prime Network.
Technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion. Goes into cars like this. The 1992 twin dual cam V6 Chevy Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Z34, from the heartbeat of America. The cars more people depend on.
It's showtime. Showtime. Hey! Whoa!
Outdrive your partner with this half-hour instructional video, free with a 1-year subscription to Golf Digest, just $19.77. Call 800-652-2300. Imagine, the video and Golf Digest. Call 800-652-2300.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. It gets more out of every ounce of gasoline. Less efficient plugs waste gas. The patented Splitfire saves gas.
4 extra miles per gallon. A 4.8% gain in mileage. More complete combustion.
Stop wasting. Start saving with Splitfire. You'll get more mileage and more power or your money back. Get guaranteed Splitfire savings at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
Hi everybody, I'm Ed Randall. Now in its 5th year, Talking Baseball is the nation's only year-round baseball talk show. We talk to the who's who of the sport. I hope you'll join me.
Ed Randall's Talking Baseball on most Prime affiliates.
Where's my contact lens?
Someone say contact. I got your contact right here. There it is.
Rugby World on Prime.
Oh, forget I asked.
The best autocross drivers are fast. That's obvious. But the techniques they use to be fast are car placement, precision, and smoothness. Precision and smoothness are especially important in the slalom you see behind me, as the driver comes through, turning the car from side to side, staying just inches away from the pylons. A run done right will be a quick one and a great time on the score sheets. Done wrong, a pylon and a 2-second penalty. There's more pylons hitting the slalom than anywhere else on the course. The fastest part of the course is the straightaways. That makes them important. But they're also important for car placement. As the driver comes up this straightaway behind us, he's going to be moving the car to the right to open up the turn for this left-hander that follows. Once he's got the car into the turn, he's going to use all of his skill and judgment to get through it right on the ragged edge of adhesion. Done right, a great run's going to be smooth, precise, with the car in the right place.
Very interesting piece from multi-time solo champion Roger Johnson. Coming up, Pro Solo Prepared action, but first, here are your Street Prepared winners.
Two drivers in contention for the year-end win in P1. Craig Nagler here in the number 42 Mazda, and Larry Park in the Corvette. Nagler leading after yesterday's runs in the dry. Larry Park took his car and went home. Craig's got it won. The event in the year, he needs to practice for this afternoon's handicap challenge. He's out there now trying to find out what the course feels like.
Well, that's an interesting point, Roger, because winners in today's categories may not necessarily be the series champion, because this is a season-long championship based on performance in 11 events. We're going to show you the 1992 class champions shortly, but right now, today, Craig Nagler, as we focus a good shot of in-car, the foot action that it takes to get around this course. You'll notice just a little bit of on the brakes, then breathing. And Craig Nagler is also your national champion, as well as the champion in today's competition.
Bud Aiming in the number 98 car, not having his best event here. but he's done so well early in the season, he's got the class championship wrapped up.
Well, now, even though Bud Emming out of Sierra Vista, Arizona, finished 5th in today's competition, he did win the overall class championship. Now, the car that you look at on your screen right there may seem a little bit familiar, and if it does, that's because that's a Ralt, and that used to run in the old Super V series. And ironically enough, that car has run on ovals, it's raced on street courses, it's raced on traditional road courses, and now Bud Emming has got it out here competing in autocross events. So it gives you an idea of the versatility of the different classes that you have here. And in this class, and this weekend's champion from Westerville, Ohio, it's going to be John Neighbors. If you're enjoying the program, here's one magazine that specializes in autocross, Grassroots Motorsports. For a free sample, call Grassroots Motorsports during business hours at 1-904-673-4148 or write to the address on your screen. Now here's the prepared, the modified, and the ladies class winners from this week.
Dire Straits in concert on pay-per-view. Tuesday, September 29th, rendezvous with the Sultans of Swing in France on pay-per-view. Dire Straits. Timeless rock in an ageless setting. Same-day coverage from the south of France. Call your cable system for more information. That's the way you do it.
Designer wool suits for just $60 at Dress for Less Clothiers, a men's consignment shop. We have hundreds of high-quality suits, sport coats, and accessories to choose from. Dress for Less can help you build an entire wardrobe with suits that look like new for what you'd normally pay for just one suit. Alterations and fittings are available. We're open 10 to 6 every day but Sunday. See our ad in the yellow pages. Dress for Less Clothiers, designer wool suits for just $60.
Coming up next on This Week in NASCAR, Eli Gold and special guest the Wood Brothers open the phone lines from Martinsville, Virginia. Next.
One of the more interesting aspects of this weekend is when the women get together to slug it out, and that's going to be in the Honda Women's Challenge, where 32 cars, 16 rounds, and all the cars are indexed by class. Now, what that simply means is this is a handicapping system in Pro Solo that allows effectively the slowest car in the field to race against the fastest. That means one car will get a head start, and that'll be on the Christmas tree. We'll see that in just a minute. Now, in the challenge, it's based on the winning time in each car's class earlier this week, so that one driver may get a head start of up to several seconds over the other. And if a driver should break out, as they call it, that means run the course faster than his class or her class's winning time, the new time that driver just set then becomes the handicap. Sounds a little bit confusing, but it's really like a handicap system in golf, where you've got a situation where everybody can compete against each other regardless of how big, small, fast, or slow their car is. And right now, we are looking at Renee Eady. She's in the number 81 car over on the far left side, and Kay Bailey. Now we're going to flip-flop them, and on the right-hand side of your screen is Renee Eady, and on the left side in the red car is Kay Bailey. Now there's a situation that's developed here that's going to come into play, because earlier this morning the course was virtually underwater, almost to the point of not really even almost being drivable. Now parts of this course, because as you can see from this camera shot, the expanse of this is huge, but the situation that's developed is one side of the course, we understand, may be drying out more than the other side, so it's going to be a decided advantage. Now you saw Renee Eady get out of the starting blocks with a fairly significant lead, but now because of the handicap system, Kay Bailey has caught up, so they're almost even Steven. So it's really a good way and a very competitive way to have a lot of people racing against each other at one time. And Renee Eady now moves on to the championship round. And this is the final semifinal round with Laura Molliker. She's in the blue car on the right of your screen. And then in the left is multi-time champion Stacy Reitmeyer. Stacy Reitmeyer, you could see, got out of the blocks just a little bit sooner. She had the advantage from a time standpoint. Now you see them all the way up there at the top, at the crossover. Now you might think that they're almost eyeball to eyeball, but in talking with the competitors, they told me that they are so intent on what they're doing that they don't even see the other competitor, even though, you know, they may be 15 to 20 feet apart. Now, Laura Molliker and Stacy Reitmeyer are going to flip-flop. Matter of fact, they have, and they're getting ready to go out and run one more competition. This will be the final to determine the championship. But it'll give us an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Honda Women's Challenge. Of course, Solo 2 or autocross competition has been around for 40 years. But as the number of women interested in competing grew by leaps and bounds, the SCCA really created a class structure in 1979 specifically for women competitors. And then in 1989, a dedicated group of solo women wanted their own class for Pro Solo. Enough women were interested, and one class with all kinds of cars were formed and became a part of Pro Solo weekends. And this is one of the exciting parts of it right here as we watch Laura Molliker and Stacy Reitmeyer. Now, of course, we go to the battle for third place here, and that's between Laura Molliker and Kay Bailey. You saw them a little bit earlier on in the program, and this is for third place overall. Now, that is the red car of Kay Bailey. She was the one that got the advantage. Christmas tree lights came down. She was able to take off with just a few seconds advantage over Laura Molliker. And now they get up all the way to the top. They're going to come almost eyeball to eyeball and go for third place bragging rights here in the 92 championship. American Honda continues to be the major supporter of the women's autocross program, and with their help and the continued interest of female participants, the Honda Women's Challenge is the fastest growing segment in autocrossing today. 1991 saw an average of 30 women competing at each Pro Solo event. By the way, you can expect 20% of the Pro Solo competitors to be women in 1992. Now we've got the second round and the final round between Laura Molliker and Kay Bailey. Now you'll see in the red car, Kay Bailey with the start. She gets out through the initial gates. Looks like she's got a pretty good run going. Also got a pretty good start. Laura Molliker, she's in the blue car all the way on the right-hand side of your screen. So let's look up there at the top. Let's see how close they can get, even though Kay Bailey had the jump coming out of the lights. Now they're almost even. So let's watch Kay Bailey. She's closest right here on our screen as she goes through the slalom part of the course. And Kay Bailey is going to go on to take third place. Now, you'll also notice when she went through there that the car moved a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. That's suspension, and Roger Johnson is here to tell us about it.
Second only to tires, getting an autocross car through the turn quickly is the suspension. On today's production cars, a lot of them are built with a strut-type suspension. It's light, it's economical, it saves space, but it's not very adjustable. An autocrosser would rather see a suspension that can be adjusted like this four-wheel independent double wishbone suspension on this Ralt and on a lot of today's street cars. The first adjustment an autocrosser makes is the camber. They'll put negative camber into it, tilting in the top of the tire, so that when the car's in a hard turn, that tire contact patch is flat on the ground. They'll also toe the front tires out a little bit, so that when they first turn the steering wheel, the car responds quickly into the corner. The sway bar can be adjusted if the car is pushing or understeering. The driver will loosen it up to help the front end hook up. If the back end's loose or oversteering, they'll tighten up that bar or put a bigger one on to help keep the car stable through the corner. Even on the production cars, most of the drivers will replace the shock absorbers with a firmer unit to help keep the tire on the ground. With today's tires and the adjustments the drivers make to the suspensions, even today's street cars can corner at over 1G.
Now, here we go for the final round. That's Renee Eady in the black Honda that had the little bit of the advantage. That's because of course, the handicapping system. And Stacy Reitmeyer. This is for the bragging rights for the next 365 days in the Honda Women's Challenge. Stacy Reitmeyer, although she had a slight disadvantage at the start because of the handicap, looked like she got a pretty good start. Let's see how they fare up when they get up toward the tarp. And it looks like, if anything, it looks like that Renee Eady may have just a bit of an advantage. Let's see if she can get through the slalom. So far, so good. Looks like it's nice and smooth. She's very precise. And going through the last corner before the timing gate, and now all of a sudden Stacy Reitmeyer has slowed way down. So there it is, the Honda Women's Challenge. Final results: Renee Eady, Stacy Reitmeyer, and Kay Bailey.
Big wheels keep turning. Big wheel Rossi.
Experience the quiet of a Sound Solution muffler. The highest quality original equipment replacement muffler made. Built to last and save you money. Sound Solution mufflers for most U.S. cars and trucks, on sale only $15.99.
Big wheels keep turning.
Get the message.
Big wheel Rossi.
Unbelievable. Spectacular. Breathtaking. Crash. Impact. 60 minutes of blazing crash action in this special edition 2-volume set. See outrageous motocross and road racing action, sensational Indy cars, Grand Prix, NASCAR, monster trucks, powerboats, and more. Only $19.95. This exclusive 2-tape set is jam-packed with magnificent racing and crash action footage featuring top drivers from around the world. Order now and get absolutely free. Havoc 1, over 45 minutes of rare footage, including some of the most thrilling and horrifying moments that made early racing history. And you'll get this incredible 2-tape offer, plus your Havoc video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-228-2233. That's 1-800-228-2233. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 for shipping and handling.
There are all of your national champions. Now we're going to move to the men's Pro Solo Challenge. It's 64 cars, 32 rounds, and once again, they're all indexed or handicapped, but the first car back wins. Now we look at Bill Breedlove, and that's a 22-year-old automobile that he's driving. He's going to tell us a little bit more about that later on, and he's going up against Kevin Bailey. Now take a look at the job that Breedlove is doing right here, because you notice he puts the brakes on. He's got big brakes. He carries it in, uses the brakes to turn the car a little bit. There's the suspension that Roger Johnson had just talked about. You'll see the suspension, a very, very important part. Now, there comes the left front tire. That comes up. That's all part of the suspension. The brakes, the suspension, and the driver all have to come together here. And they did a pretty good job for Bill Breedlove. Now, round 2. And the winner of this is going to go up against Bill Breedlove for the final. And we've got, once again, our Roger Johnson over there in the yellow Corvette, the number 99 car. And he goes off against Randy Clow in the Mazda. Now we're focused on Roger Johnson. Just south of Toledo, Ohio is where he makes his home. He's also a 9-time Solo 2 champion. He's the only person who's ever won the Solo 2 Nationals 9 consecutive years in a row. Now we come back to Randy Clow in the Mazda. One of these guys is going to go ahead and move on into the finals. Oh, good car control right there as he slides through the timing gates. So Randy Clow will move on to the finals, and now we've got Roger Bailey. And whoa! Red light, and that means that he jumped the gun too soon. So Kevin Bailey out of the competition. So that means that your third place winner is Roger Johnson. Now we go to the finals. Bill Breedlove on the right has the advantage due to the indexing or the handicap system, and Randy Clow is on your left. So because of that handicap, Bill Breedlove got out to a pretty good start, but I'll tell you what, Randy Clow is really gotten through the first 2 or 3 or 4 turns very, very smoothly, and he has got that Mazda up to full song already. So squealing the tires, and coming around, heading down toward the slalom area. So this is for the championship. This is between Bill Breedlove and Randy Clough that you see on your screen right now. And he comes through the timing gate. And now Breedlove again. This will be the final line. Breedlove with the advantage. On the left-hand side, you see a little bit of tire smoke there. You'll also see the suspension working, and Breedlove really looks like he's got this thing hooked up. He said before the competition, boy, winning these things are really hard, and it really takes a positive attitude to do this. You'll notice, you see, once again, now they're almost neck and neck at this point. This is for all the marbles. This is for the championship. Bill Breedlove right now looks like he's got a good handle on it. Through the slalom part of the course, down into the latter parts of the turn, slides the car through the timing gates. Great job by Bill Breedlove. Really a good job. And you can see people are jumping up and down in the background. Bill Breedlove knows he's won it. You can see him taking his hands off the wheel of the car. He's clapping, and there are your final results of the Pro Solo Challenge. Bill Breedlove, Randy Clough, and Roger Johnson.
What a great week for Bill Breedlove. A win in the Solo 2 Nationals, and now the overall champion in the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship event. Bill, what made the difference this week?
It was an attitude. I started off with a 22-year-old car. This car turned 22 years old 2 days ago. And a lot of people said, old car won't win. So I bought a twin-turbo decal from a new 300ZX, stuck it on the deck lid, and people had questioned me about it. I said, well, it's not an option, but it's definitely an attitude.
That's great. An attitude helped Bill Breedlove to 2 big wins this week in Salina.
We'll be back in a minute.
The performance of a Chevrolet is determined by many factors. We consider volumetric efficiency, coefficient of drag, yaw damping, polar moments of inertia, induction velocity, camber, caster, bounce, rebound, thermodynamic load, slip angles, linkage arrangements. And at Chevrolet, we also take into account the yeehaw factor.
The cars more people depend on.
In case you need to push your truck, Yokohama high-performance light truck tires.
Al Unser Jr. knows what it's like to win the Indianapolis 500 with 0.04 of a second to spare. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Well, that concludes 6 days of high-skill, high-thrill competitive driving at the grassroots level. But I think the most important thing to remember here is that these folks don't do this for a living. They do it because it's fun, it's safe, and it's affordable. It's got a little something for everybody. Roger, your thoughts on that?
Well, Doug, there's hundreds of clubs putting on thousands of events all over the country. Over 70,000 people autocross in the U.S. I think the big reason is they can take the same car they drive to work all week long and come out and race with it on Sunday.
For Roger Johnson, this is Doug Messerly saying so long from Salina, Kansas, the Yokohama Solo 2 National Championship and the Valvoline Pro Solo Championship Series. Take care, and we'll see you the next time. Today's program is brought to you by Yokohama, makers of high-performance, light truck and passenger tires, advanced technology on wheels. And by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And by Pulsar, featuring the Tech Gear Series, the ultimate in sports watch technology. Pulsar, available at leading department stores and fine jewelers.